Hi, my name is David Younglove. I'm a 6th-degree black belt with the USA Karate and Platinum Yoga martial arts programs in Burnsville and Rosemont, Minnesota, and welcome to the Greatmats training videos.
Hello everyone. Hey, today in this training series, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about some basic sparring drills, and we'll go to a couple of variations of that too on how maybe I can help you score on your opponent, give you a couple tips that maybe they don't know about, so don't tell them, okay? So with the front hand being up, I can think about this hand being centered on my body. Now, I can turn this hand palm up, I can turn it palm vertical, or I can turn it palm down. And, well, you're already seeing it makes a difference to what my elbow does. They're attached there. When you roll this over, it makes a big difference. So work on this, two things. First one is palm up, so extend the arm out. Okay, that reaches to a certain distance. And then I want to think about a little bend in the knees, and we're going to take this hip. Look at that. I can tip it underneath, and I can reach out. A little tiny turn of just the hip, and the back knee comes with, and I can extend that reach about twice the distance of what I can do if I just extend it out. Doesn't that make sense? Okay, now the next one is to take this palm and keep your elbow low, but turn the palm down. Now this time when I do this and it goes straight out. Now the problem with this one is you are going to turn your body a little bit more as you do this one. So you're slightly more exposed, but you're more committed when you do this one. Now the last one is elbow up and palm down. Now, what do you think this one goes? Yeah, chin level, right? Okay, so this one, we're going to think about going up nice and high, all the way up to that chin level, over their shoulder, over their arm, something on that line. So, okay? All right, very good. We're going to do the same thing with the kicks, and I'm going to show you this one. We talked about the side kick, the basics of a side kick in one of the other training series. So let's put that to practical application for a sparring drill. Now, if I pick this knee up and I kick this leg out, it reaches that far. Now, look at this hip. I can take this hip, pivot that bottom foot, and I can shift that hip forward, and look how much more distance I can cover. Now, so let's start with the palm up. This is the normal fighting position, and we're going to think about this attacker. Now, if I just punch like I do in my katas, okay, boom, look what happens. I'm going right into that elbow. So for sparring, I want to think about, I want to go under there. Look, there's a nice target under here that gives me a point on my opponent, okay? So again, if I do this palm up, look what it does. It can go right under that. Now, if this person is fighting really tight down, I can even drop down a little bit with that back. Now, let's say, what about that distance? Right now, I can't reach them just with my arm, but if I turn this, bend the knees, and turn that hip underneath, now I can easily reach my opponent, okay? Now, what about that low elbow, okay? Now I've got my opponent here. If I just punch straight ahead, well, that's not going to do me much good, but what I can do is I can take this hand, elbow down low, and I can go right over the top. Look at that. I can go right over the top, right through that little crook in his arm, and I can get that shot to the chest there, okay? Now if I do that elbow up, palm down, now I'm all the way up to that chin level. Okay, as we go up on that side. So, and you can get variations of these. I can start on one and then change halfway through down to the other, but you got to really commit. Remember, I commit up high, one, oh, look at that. I can change the direction as we go. It takes a little bit more practice. Let's do the same thing with the kicking technique we were talking about. So now I got my partner here, and I think about that basic side kick and that extension of that hip that way, okay? So I pick this knee up and I kick out. Now I can't reach him here from this distance, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this bottom foot pivots. Remember, we talked about that pivot, and I'm going to tuck my hip underneath. Now all of a sudden, and I want to train him. So I want you to move around with the partner. We're going to pick up and throw a kick. And that person goes, okay, I'm out of distance. I'm out of range. And pick up, you throw a kick, and they're like, okay, I'm out of distance. He can't reach me. And all of a sudden, you pick up and you throw this third one, and you tuck your hip underneath, and all of a sudden, I can reach your opponent. You got to do it twice to try to train them. And the third time, you can change the technique. All I did was I took my hip and slid it underneath. Now that sounds easy. It's not, okay? But with practice, you'll get this down. So I'll finish with one more here, okay? So this one, we come in here, we do our punch here. Now instead of always just stepping straight ahead, just one more variation. I can step way over here, can I? Okay, and then maybe you want that palm down. So instead of going straight ahead, maybe I can step to the side. Remember, protect your face. I step way over to the side, and now I can reach. Now he can barely reach me, right? Punch out. Oh, look at that. There, as I can kind of get down out of the way. Thanks very much. Don't forget to check out the rest of our Greatmats training videos. Go out and be great.